We've got some more breaking political news just coming into us in truly the last few minutes right here at NBC News Now. Steve Bannon, that name is probably familiar to you. You see him here. He's been a longtime ally of former President Donald Trump. He, we've confirmed, has been subpoenaed now in that special counsel investigation into Mr. Trump's connection to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. This is according to two sources familiar with that, talking with NBC News. I want to bring in now Garrett Hake, who is joining us to talk about this and some other developments as it relates to Trump world. Let me talk about, Garrett, sort of this first piece, the Bannon subpoena here. What does it mean? What does it tell us about any potential charges that could come against Donald Trump?
Well, remember, Steve Bannon was long since out of the White House proper by the time that January 6th rolled around, or by the 2020 election in general. But he was never out of the Trump orbit. He was always a big booster for Donald Trump. He was a big booster for the Stop the Steal movement, both on his podcast and in public appearances. And he was somebody who kind of revved up the Trump base, both in the lead up to January 6th and around that time period in general, to help raise money. And so the universe of things that the special counsel may want to ask him about is pretty broad. What did he know about the lead up to January 6th? Remember his famous quote that, the day was going to be wild, and he kind of set the tone for January 6th himself. But then also, what did he know about the efforts to continue to raise money to overturn the election results or to challenge election results long after it was clear that there was really no legal basis to do so? They knew this subpoena went out in May. I don't believe we know whether or not, kind of how deep down the rabbit hole the prosecutors went with Steve Bannon, but he's got a lot potentially to share. And remember, this is somebody who fought and was held in contempt the January 6th committee's effort to get him to testify. So we really haven't heard kind of his version of this story at all yet.
Two buckets here, Garrett. The Steve Bannon stuff, apparently, according to the sources that we have here at NBC News, relates to the January 6th piece of the special counsel investigation. The special counsel is also looking at this issue of mishandling of classified documents, whether Donald Trump knowingly brought stuff he shouldn't have from the White House that was classified down to Mar-a-Lago. There's a lot of swirl in that bucket, right, of this special counsel investigation, so much so that the former president himself is posting late today, I want to read it here if we can pull it up, essentially, nobody has told me that I'm getting indicted. Well, nobody said that officially or publicly at all, but it does seem to be an indication that pressure is perhaps building.
Yeah, look, Callie, the theme of the day is smoke, right? And there's a whole lot of smoke here for a fire that we can't quite see yet about the possibility of an indictment on this classified documents bucket, to borrow your metaphor here. And exactly what the charges might be or who all might get indicted is not really clear at this point. But every available sign that we have is that this investigation appears to be wrapping up, right down to me, the biggest one, which is that meeting on Monday with Donald Trump's attorneys and DOJ officials, including Jack Smith. They had wanted to go in and talk to Merrick Garland himself. They wanted to complain about the way the investigation was being run and probably to, raise their issues with the indictment more broadly. That alone is a trigger to me that this investigation is close to the end. But the public comments from Donald Trump kind of digging in politically is a big callback to what we saw with the indictment in New York, and a sign that he does expect something to happen here soon.
Garrett Hake, busy few days for you and your team. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.